Okay, so there's a brand new in-game update notice for the Chaka the Prince and Dragon, and if you didn't know what's in here, there is a whole rundown of Albedo as well as Dragonspine. So I'm cool, I'm excited. Let's go check it out. Let's react to this whole thing, and maybe it's good. All right, so first off, Dragonspine. What's up here? The Entombed City, an ancient city that lies beyond the tunnel. Nice. Okay, the Starglow Cavern, sick. I think this is the area around the new event. And then this is the Wormrust Valley, the final resting place of the Black Dragon. Low temperature warning. And this shows you the sheer cold that comes up. New character, Albedo. Sounds good. All right, this is Albedo's normal attacks. Favonius Blade works. Yeah. Yo, wait. Why they try to make him Emiya when he's like Edward Elric? I don't understand. Isn't he Geo creates constructs and like is an alchemist? So he's like literally Edward Elric. So like, why they tried to make him Emiya or something? Oh, sick. Wait, that was 11k damage. Damn, bro, he's popping. What the hell? Okay, a Begonia Solar Isotoma. His plunge attack was not bad. All right, so he used an E and then okay, so here's the hold E. He did a lot. Was that 11k or was that 1k? And then he does 4k and a plunge, and it's like adds on a multiplier on top of it. So it's like additive damage whenever he uses an ability. So elevators are kind of cool. I got yeah. So it also gives you the area for it to right in front of the other enemies, and then you can like launch down on top of it. And I guess anybody inside that circle area is going to be able to allow you to get hit with the normal attack ability. And then for Albedo here, his ultimate ability does bump damage. I'm assuming this is going to be based off of like Geo and stuff, and then and also looks like it does additional damage on top of that while you have an E out. So like if you don't have an E out, it doesn't do that additional modifier. But if you do have an E out, here's the first hit from the E, and then there's the additional hits from the Solar Isotoma. So make sure when you're using your ultimate, use their E first. So that's kind of cool. Albedo's looking kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. With the new Geo buffs and everything, with new resin and stuff, I'm actually kind of considering him. I don't know if I do want him, but he is interesting, and I don't know what the best way to go with him is. But I'm assuming the new weapon that came out is going to be one of his best weapons. So the new event for the Chaka the Prince and Dragon is going to start right after the 1.2 update, go all the way until the 5th of January. And the shop, you're going to have all the way until the 12th of January to get that done. So just make sure that you are going to be clearing that. You're going to get a lot. You're going to get a Crown of Insight. You're going to get Primo Gems along with it. Hero Wits, Mystic Contents and Wars, as well as the new weapon here for the Festering Desire. And there's going to be many other things that will be available. Now, 99.9% of us are going to be available to actually do this event. So don't feel like you're going to be locked out of it, because anyone who's above Adventure rank 20 is able to do it. But most likely what's going to happen is they're going to have gated rewards based on adventure rank. So is a shop that was teased in the original. So just make sure that these are the well, just boost your adventure rank as much as you can before the TLDR is that the Dragonspine region is going to be a very cool reason to go into. There's a lot of new areas that are going to be very interesting with the sheer cold effect. Albedo looks amazing. If I had to rate him, I would give him a solid 7 out of 10 as far as the unit goes. I don't know more about this, but I can go into his multipliers and talk about those a little bit, and we can go into if he's going to scale really well or not. Now, the caveat to know here, of course, is he is using an Aquila Favonia in this videos. So if you are wondering what the weapon is he is using, it's an Aquila Favonia. I currently use that same weapon on my free-to-play account on my Kaya, and yes, it does bump your damage pretty heavily. But what the thing is that the weapon is actually a physical damage modifier weapon, so none of the effects that you're getting are actually improving the damage of your Geo attacks. So the fact that the Geo damage is going very, very high that we can see on the screen here with no additional modifier being added to it besides the overall base attack is kind of interesting, because you're not getting extra crit chance, you're not getting extra crit damage, you're not getting extra ability damage, none of that stuff. So I'm very curious how they're attaining those types of damage values if they're not able to, not having to do that. So the thing that I did notice about Albedo though. Okay. All right, so disclaimer, the next part of this video is going to be going over some of the stuff that was gained from the beta service. So if you're not interested in learning the substats and everything of the unit, as well as the multipliers, check out. But if those of you who are interested in learning a little bit more, going into Albedo, I'm not really caring what he gets out of his multipliers, but he does get a geo damage increase every time he gains a level. So you're getting a maximum of 28.8% of geo damage increase when you gain levels. We go into further parts of his kit. One of the things I did notice, and I do want to compare this to Kaya specifically because this is a very important unit to compare him to, is that his level 1 attack is goes from 36% to 62%. Now, this is a really low multiplier. And the reason this is a really low multiplier, if we're looking at Kaya, Kaya has the highest normal attack talents in the entire game, and his damage is exceptional. But if we compare them to, say, Chi-Chi, they're pretty close. So if I go to the archive here, the character archive, and you open up any of the characters, and you go to Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi's talents for her normal attacks bring her to about 37%, all the way up to 63%. Whereas Albedo's are very similar, at 36.74 to 62. So I'm assuming they're almost exactly the same as far as the overall attack goes. Now, one of the problems with Chi-Chi, of course, is her attacks are very weak when you're using her as a main DPS character. So they're not going to be nowhere close to a character like Kaya, who actually starts at a much higher value. If we go to Kaya's overall stat values for his normal attack damage, he starts at a whopping 53%, which is close to the top end of what Chi-Chi puts out, and ends at 88%. So if you're looking to do a lot of normal attack damage with this character, it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. Now, if we are going to be looking further into this, the charge attack damage is 47 plus 60. So if we look at this, it's way, way lower, of course, than Kaya as well. So you're not going to get a huge charge attack on top of that either. So none of these abilities really show if you are going to get really high damage on your normal attacks. So if you're expecting that, one of the biggest letdowns with Zhongli is that many players did not enjoy playing a character where the normal attack damage was very weak or felt really low, and the when that was kind of taken into consideration, these values again are more reflective of a lower damage DPS character for a main DPS than a high DPS character. So just be aware that these are more reflective of low DPS for auto attack and normal attacking. Okay, going into his other abilities for Solar Isotoma. Now, this ability is also very interesting because it scales off defense. It doesn't scale off of his attack values or whatever. It just scales off your defense value. Because it scales off your defense value, you're going to get a lot better damage values on other attack multiplier abilities. Looking at this, you get 130% based on your attack notes and defense right here, and 94% of your defense. You could potentially go with attack rolled stuff, defense rolled stuff, or do a mixed match roll to get a lot of damage out of this. But it scales off attack and defense, so it's really hard to say which one is the better way to go. Obviously, you get more of your attack from your attack, and I guess that scaling with defense at the same time is a good choice. But that means you're going to be limiting yourself potentially on crit chance, crit damage, etc. So it's all up in the air. You could potentially have an attack percentage roll, a defense percentage roll, and a crit chance and crit damage roll on your main on your substat rolls for whatever piece you're going to be rolling for. So it's not like it's impossible to get the best slot rolls for this. And because you can go with two different routes of multipliers, you could potentially, if you got really good RNG on a lot of pieces, do a significant amount of damage because of that. The other thing that you notice about his last multiplier is his last multiplier, which is for his ultimate, is based off strictly attack damage. So you're not getting any defense value out of this attack damage. So if you're looking to go into a build for him, do not have to go defense. Defense rolls just help you for your E ability and not so much for your ultimate ability. But as we saw from the original video here, one of the things that you should notice is that when you were, of course, using your ultimate ability and you ended up using your ultimate ability with your E, you ended up getting an additional hit. So without the ultimate ability here, without an E here, you just do a normal hit. And of course, with the E, you get an additional hit on targets that were not hit by that. You can see the additional hits there. So because that's the case, you're able to potentially get more damage on your characters if you were going to be going into an attack and defense route, even while pushing for your ultimate. Some of the things about Albedo that I thought was really interesting is that you're not going to need a large amount of constellations for him to really see the maximum potential of his supporting ability or his DPS abilities. looking at his constellations, you don't really get a ton out of them besides plunge attack damage for a different type of play style. You can potentially get extra damage on your solar isotoma, etc. This just improves his damage. There's nothing insane about his constellations, so you're not going to need constellations for him to really see his potential. Now he also has an insanely good talent 6 or ascension 6 or whatever. Oh yeah, the ascension talent here. And this Ascension talent is going to provide elemental mastery to nearby party members by 125 for 10 seconds. This is good for 2 reasons. 1, it's a 10-second buff, and 2, it is 125 elemental mastery. Elemental mastery is really good for elemental reaction teams, so if you want to use a melt comp or vaporize comp along with Albedo, this is going to increase the damage of your melt or vaporize while also having shields out there in front of you and defensibility. So this is a very good character when, of course, improving your DPS. Whereas Zhongli is a character that kind of petrifies enemies so they can lock them in place so you can actually kill enemies that are in one spot, versus this character boosting the actual damage they're going to deal. Now, this character can be a top tier damage character that will boost other teams. If you haven't seen a lot of people putting out a lot of DPS videos with melt comp and vaporize comps, one of the things they do utilize is Diona's ability or Sucrose's ability to provide elemental mastery to other characters, which will then boost them by giving them a massive bump to their reaction damage when using a melt or vaporize with Child or potentially Mona. So if you're looking to do that kind of damage, then you can do it with these characters. And this is another character that you can use for that. This is not going to be like Zhongli in the sense he's more defensive. It's a more offensive. I would say this character is more offensive than defensive versus Zhongli. All right, guys. Well, my name is Sekapoko. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did enjoy the video, of course, like and subscribe. It always helps out very much. So have a great rest of your day. Peace.